Hello guys, welcome back. This video is called Science Class, that feeling of being redshifted after minute 5. What I want to do is I want to paraphrase an apparently very common experience from science classes and then share a few thoughts about this. So the hardly exaggerated experience could go like this. Imagine it is 8:25 in the morning. You just entered a beautiful lecture hall like this, together with many others. You came in somewhat early, confident, bit curious about today's lecture, maybe a bit nervous that it might get really complex again. Then 8:29, 30 seconds. Prof walks in, straight to the board. Hello class, last time we stopped at theorem XY, let's continue with Z. Starts filling the board at 8:30 straight. This is minute 0. 1 minute 30 seconds in. You start feeling a little slow compared to the light speed writing of the prof, who already managed to fill a whole board. 2 minute 30 seconds. For the first time you're like, wait, what? What's going on exactly? You feel slightly lost in that current explanation, but you're like, okay, let's just wait for the next paragraph, it's gonna be fine. 3 minutes 20 seconds. You realize that you're not slightly, but rather lost, somewhere in the Earth orbit. Words reach you with delay and lots of noise. Some of them sound faintly familiar with something you might have heard before, but not sure. 5 minutes 1 second. You come to the conclusion that you are totally lost. Not even in the Earth orbit anymore, but in outer space. You realize that there's not even the remotest chance to come back in this lecture. You look around. You see only concentrated faces. Everybody is on track. Well, you declare your new most important mission. Not let them see that you are lost in outer space. Wait, no, you're not, in fact, lost in outer space, but in the farthest redshift regions of space. There's no possible interaction between your brain and anything of the stuff which is being said. If this was a Chinese level 10 course, you had the chance of understanding more if they say ni hao once. Other than not showing that you're super redshifted, you copy the hieroglyphs from the board, you text, you wonder about the strange posture of the guy in the first row. But meanwhile, your panic level is continuously rising. Will I ever be able to follow this whole course again at all? Then, you already made it to minute 80, as a person is raising his or her hand. Excuse me, do we really need that one boundary conditions in this derivation over there? I don't really see that. Could you elaborate on that, please? Prof, looking at the board, looking at the person, bored again, going into a deep think. Yeah, I think it's a good remark. You could have a point there. I will have to think about that later. I will answer that next time, if that's okay for you. At that moment, you start uncontrolled gasping. Finally, you manage to take a look around. Yeah, clearly most of them had the same question. So you return to staring at the board, pretending to decrypt that what looks to you like random quantum machine code, maybe? But meanwhile, you start wondering, is there a thing such as enrolling in high school? And at the end of the lecture, you see all these relaxed faces getting up. They obviously must have all just agreed with the final statement of the lecture. Yeah, guys, I could go on. You see, where this is going to, but let me share a few thoughts here. And namely, thoughts about being redshifted early and the automatic assumption of being the only one at that moment. So, judging from conversations about this topic, yes, very subjective social science experiment, committed many denials since there at once for sure, but the pattern seems to be clear. First, being redshifted early seems to be very common in fact, if not standard actually. Evenly common is the feeling in that moment that the others are not redshifted, it's just you. The second point is rather contradictory, right? How can all these people be the only one super redshifted at the same time? How the hell is this possible? Also, how likely is it that you are not just the least prepared and least smart person in the room, but even less likely, the only one far off the mean in terms of level of understanding, so far off that you actually should be considered a measurement error? But why then, all in all, is this such a common assumption? I can't answer that. Let's leave that to the psychologists. But I will say that, aside from being totally ridiculous, obviously, it can also be dangerous if it starts hindering you from getting back from redshift, because you just feel monstrously outleveled. On the other hand, metaphorically speaking, if it was more common to boldly state your individual passing out time, 5 minutes in this case, everybody's panic level would decrease instantly, and you will find that the level of understanding is just way below than what you have assumed, way below. Also, as you find each other all to be severely redshifted to the bones, you can then form a team which starts hardcore nerding into the subject together, instead of everybody feeling the stupidest person alive for him or herself. Then there's just one trap in which you don't want to step here, which is backdoor justifying your redshift towards others and yourself with the rather weak lie, I have never really tried, I don't really care anyway, conveying that if you did, you would be much farther ahead. This is just instant gratification bullshizzle. And it pulls down you, and what is worse, all your friends around you as well. Concluding, I would say, expect to be redshifted again and again and again. But as we all know, as existential that feeling of being redshifted might feel, so does coming back from there, but just in a positive fashion. In a way, this is part of the strange beauty of the subjects, right? Finally, if you guys can relate to any of this, or if you have ridiculous redshift experiences yourself to share, please do so. I'd be very interested. So, see you next time, and don't you dare to sub or like. I will find you.